Today we've got the first hands-on video of the Galaxy S24 Ultra on top of confirmations on the specs and the pricing for the whole range. Let me know in the comments who out there is excited for the Galaxy S24 series, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech. So first up, before we get into the hands-on video, for those of you that haven't seen it yet, Samsung have opened up their reservation page for the Galaxy S24 series, and you can get free Samsung credit as well as exclusive launch offers just by putting in your name and email address. There's absolutely no commitment to buy, so if you're even considering the S24 series, then go ahead and check it out now by clicking the link down in the description below or the card in the top right corner. Now next up, we've had the marketing materials leaked confirming all of the specs, and I can't show the material itself as Samsung will issue a takedown notice, but it confirms multiple improvements for the S24 series. Now for a start, we're getting a vapor chamber that's 1.9 times larger than its predecessor, and this will of course help with the cooling. As we covered last week, the Galaxy S24 is going to be getting an overclocked version of the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset, so the improved cooling is going to allow for much better performance before we get any thermal throttling. It also gives confirmation that all three models are going to be equipped with improved displays, and they're offering an incredible 2600 nits of peak brightness, which is much higher than most of the other phones on the market. Ice Universe has also confirmed that the touch response has been improved by 10% on the S24, and it might not sound like much, but it's greatly going to improve the usability of the phone. The new pricing leak confirms the pricing for Europe, and it again shows a very similar price to the S23 launch price when you include the double storage deal on launch, and it seems to be the same across every single country, so if you're purchasing at launch, whatever country you're in, then you'll be getting pretty much the same price as last year's launch. Next up, we've had the first hands-on video appear for the Galaxy S24 Ultra, showcasing the device in the flesh. Now I'm struggling to find the source of the video, but as soon as I do, I'll place the link down in the description below. Now the video showcases the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and it confirms the new flat display that we've been told about many times and we also saw in the previous live photos. Now the video is unfortunately a little bit short at 17 seconds, and it's also inside a case, but it does give us a good look at the S24 Ultra. Now unfortunately in this video it's just the display of the S24 Ultra that they focused on, but I've also created this hands-on render to give you a good idea of what it's going to look like from the back as well. Now of course, launch is less than a week away now. We finally got all of the specs confirmed beforehand, but I hope there are still some surprises at launch. But for those of you that are excited, we're now going to run through the full specs, design and the pricing for each model in the range, so make sure you hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. The standard Galaxy S24 is coming with a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 2600 nits. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panels protected by Gorilla Glass armor. We get a 12-megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide and a 10-megapixel telephoto, and of course it's going to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, while European users are going to be getting the Exynos 2400. We get 8GB of RAM and a choice of 128 or 256GB storage, and this is of course UFS 4.1. It comes with a 4000 mAh battery, and it can charge from 0% to 50% in just 30 minutes. We're getting 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from around $800 on the 17th of January in San Francisco. Now next up, we've got the Galaxy S24 Plus with a 6.7-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get an upgraded Quad HD Plus resolution of 3120 by 1440, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, and again it's protected by Gorilla Glass armor. We get a 12-megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear, again it's a 50-megapixel primary, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide and a 10-megapixel telephoto. It's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, and again, Europe users are going to get the Exynos 2400, and again we get 12GB of RAM, and then the choice of 256 or 512 storage, which will be UFS 4.1. We get a 4900 mAh battery, and it can charge from 0% to 65% 65% in just 30 minutes. And again, we get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. It's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from around $1,000 on the 17th of January. Now finally, we've got the most premium, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And with the S24 Ultra, we've got a 6.8-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. It's got a resolution of 3088 by 1440, and again, it's using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, protected by Gorilla Glass armor, with a peak brightness of 2600 nits. We get a 12-megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 200-megapixel primary camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, we get a 50-megapixel 5x telephoto that can also crop to 10x, as well as another 10-megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom. Despite previous rumors, it's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in all regions, and it's only the S24 and the S24 Plus that are still going to be using the Exynos. And with the S24 Ultra, we get up to 12GB of RAM with up to 1TB of storage, and this is of course UFS 4.1. It comes with a 5000 mAh battery, and it's able to charge from 0% to 65% in just 30 minutes. And we're also going to get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from around $1,200 on the 17th of January. So overall, the Samsung Galaxy S24 series is looking like a great addition to the S lineup, and thankfully there are upgrades across the whole range. The improved display across all models is going to greatly improve the usability in sunlight, and then the new AI features should hopefully make day-to-day tasks and photography much better. Now the flat display on the Ultra is really going to help when pressing near the edge of the screen, especially when you're using the S Pen. And then the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is of course going to bring huge improvements to performance as well as efficiency and better battery life, and hopefully the new Exynos 2400 is also going to perform close. Now overall, I'm happy with the changes, but given the similarities to the predecessor, I think it's probably not going to be worth anyone with an S23 Ultra rushing for an upgrade, but for anyone with an older phone or looking to get their first S phone, then it's going to be a great choice. Now of course, if anything comes up from now until launch, I'm going to be sharing it straight away, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing in the future.